Hello and welcome to your weekly dose of higher wisdom. I have to start Instagram. Once we get live on Instagram, we're going to see if our audio is working this time. Okay, you should be able to join. And then once someone joins, we'll see if we have audio. Usually when we deliver powerful messages, technology doesn't want to work for us. Stay humble. Can you hear us? If you can just let us know, thumbs up, comment, yes or no. You can go into your messages to go to my profile.
Yeah, but it should show up there live, right?
Yeah.
Type out to him and ask him.
Wilma, can you hear us? Shh. You can, yes. Okay, perfect. So now, third time is a charm.
All right, we'll give everybody a chance to kind of come up quickly to speed. Sorry for the technical problems.
This is normal. We just flow with it. It is what it is.
Remember last week when we were having a conversation about the triggers? Again, folks, just so that you know, we literally have two mics. Shelly tested all of this before we started, but we know that once we start these conversations, it's like technology is going to go.
It doesn't want to work for us. We got to learn to flow with it instead of getting triggered. It is what it is.
So we just kind of go.
So, welcome all. Today's magical conversation is about Santa, magic mushrooms, female shamans, and the mother reindeer. I'm going to be guiding you on a journey back to the origins of where the literal Christmas story and Santa story came from. And I don't mean that in that this is the truth of Santa and Christmas. We were having this conversation in our practice last night, and the awareness that I shared with my husband is the literal story of Santa Claus, of Christmas, even of Jesus, which we'll be sharing in tomorrow evening's book reading about the sacred secretion. The story is taken literally. The feminine interpretation of the story is missing. Even the divine masculine interpretation of the story is missing. It is a patriarchal version of the story. And in hearing the feminine version of the story, the feminine version is rooted in symbolism, metaphors, analogies, codes that have to be interpreted. And when interpreted, the feminine story guides you from having your awareness external on an external man, whether it's Santa Claus, Jesus, God in the sky, and it brings your awareness back internal, more importantly, into your body, because the feminine story brings you into the feminine part of you. Between your mind and your body's feminine, your mind is masculine. And then tomorrow, we're going to dive deep into the sacred secretion.
So there was a whole bunch of folks that you missed.
Conversation.
There was a whole conversation. We shared a lot of information. Unfortunately, due to time, we can't go back and recount that. So if you want more information, come join us for our book reading tomorrow. As Shelly goes through some of the stuff in her book, I'm going to ask you to just breathe. Can you just bring all your awareness into your body? Bring all your awareness into your breath. Slowly, ever so slowly. Inhale, filling your lower stomach, upper stomach, chest, throat, up into the cranium. Exhale. And just breathe. Just bring consciousness into the breath as we continue to read and discuss. Floor is yours, love.
So I'm going to dive right in and share this story because afterwards we're going to dive into a candid conversation about how this patriarchal version of Christmas has humanity giving away their power to consumerism, to someone or something external, forgetting that connection to spirit, your inner connection to you, your higher self, as well as how patriarchy has also infiltrated and impacted the shamanic and plant medicine world.
That's going to be an interesting conversation.
And trigger disclaimer, if there is anything that either I share from my book or that we say or talk about triggers you, just meet the trigger, feel it. Where do you feel a wound in your body getting poked? Because that is the essence of the trigger. So here we go. So the word shaman means one who knows. And I'll add on to that with one who knows how to heal oneself. This knowledge is gained through feeling. Feeling occurs where, my love?
In the body, not in the mind.
It is not knowledge gained through studying, reading, or filling your head with information. Shamans are not healers of others. They are healers of themselves. Once they know how to heal themselves, then and only then can they guide others in remembering how to heal themselves. Shamanism was affected by the patriarchy
And religion.
and religion, which is a patriarchal manifestation. Female shamans were replaced with male priests, which, looking at your lineage, coming from a Brahmin lineage, where are the female pundits?
That's what I was asking my wife this morning. I says, isn't it funny that Sanatan Dharma, which is my culture, thousands of years old, this is
Before Hinduism became a
religion.
man-made religion, which really it only became a man-made religion because they had to compete, not necessarily compete, but kind of fit in with all the other man-made religions.
And one more thing before you continue. Even the term Hindu, if you understood what that means, it's a person from a country. There was a country called Hindustan, today known as India. So everybody who came from Hindustan was named Hindu.
But what religion do they practice? Hinduism.
They practice Sanatan Dharma,
Mm-hmm.
which is a science. This is where we are giving you the information. It's a science. It's the science of life. It just so happens that it's also spirituality. So,
It's everything, absolutely. And that conversation we're going to dive deeper into tomorrow, which the link to join tomorrow's book reading, if I didn't mention it, is at the bottom of the video. Female shamans were replaced with male priests. Menstruation rites morphed into sacrificial rituals and menstrual taboos. Temples and carvings dedicated to the great goddess were buried and forced underground, usually underneath false religion churches and monuments. Shakalakas or parrots or
No.
parakeets. Which
Hawk.
one? A hawk.
Hawk.
Oh, spirit animal.
pork, right outside our window.
Blessing this live. The oldest shamanic burial site dates back to 28,000 BC and is located in the Czech Republic. Upon excavation, they found a female shaman buried with ceremonial tools and red ochre paint, symbolizing menstrual blood. Not only is the patriarchal version of Christmas a parable about the dark night of the womb or hara journey that Jesus embarked on to physically and spiritually rebirth himself, known as the sacred secretion, which we'll be sharing tomorrow.
Who again? Jesus. Who?
Yeah,
About that.
about that. We'll go there tomorrow. It's also a parable about female shamans. There is symbolism in nearly everything involved in Christmas, from the colors red and white, to stockings, to chimneys, to Santa Claus flying in the sky in a sleigh, pulled by reindeer, to gifts being left under the tree. So let's go on a journey back to Neolithic times in the location of Siberia. Here, female shamans were revered as oracles who would journey to the other world, the feminine realm of consciousness, during winter solstice and bring back gifts in the form of knowledge and wisdom for the community for the new year. The winter solstice was known as the Mother Night and marks the symbolic death and rebirth of our sun. On December 21st, the sun dips to its furthest southern point, bringing darkness to the northern hemisphere for 3 days.
It's the longest night of the year.
Darkness for 3 days, symbolism for sacred secretion, 3-day rebirth journey. The sun makes its ascent north on the morning of December 25th, the birth of the sun. It is in the darkness of the womb of the Divine Mother that the destruction of the old from the past year and the rebirth of the new coming year and all the new life that emerges in the spring occurs. The return of the light, symbolized in Christmas lights, signifies survival, redemption, and resurrection. Humanity is saved. In early Neolithic times, the northern people of Siberia were dependent upon reindeer for milk, tools, food, clothing, and shelter. Reindeer were sacred to these people. They represented the Great Mother and her role in the death-rebirth cycle. Female reindeer were especially revered due to their stronger and larger antlers that do not shed in the winter, whereas male reindeer shed their antlers in the winter. A herd of reindeer is guided by an elder female reindeer called the deer mother.
Wasn't Rudolph? Damn.
I know.
I thought it
Again,
was Rudolph.
projection of the mother aspect even in the story.
How did we not know that the male reindeers shed their antlers? So how they end up fitted for Christmas?
Right? Because we never question. We just go along with what they tell us. And this dear mother, who was also known to guide the female shamans on their flight through the mother night. Their antlers are also associated with the tree of life and have been found in tattoo designs on buried Siberian warriors. And guess what? Female shamans were dressed in red suits with white dots. Sounds a little bit like Santa Claus's outfit. And they would pick the amanita muscaria mushrooms, which are the red toadstool with white dot mushrooms, just like in the background on our live here today.
Which is why did they wear that outfit? It was in honor of the plant.
Absolutely. Which these mushrooms would grow almost exclusively under pine trees. Presents under the tree
Pine trees.
bring gifts and knowledge. Their outfits mirrored the sacred medicine that had a symbolic relationship with the roots, a symbiotic relationship, symbolic and symbiotic relationship with the roots of the pine tree. They were the fruit of the tree. And for any of you who do not know about the mycelial network, these mushrooms growing underneath the pine tree, the tree and the mushrooms are connected through that mycelial network.
And that mycelium network connects every single thing on the planet.
Every tree.
It goes under the ocean.
As Terrence McKenna, I believe, said it, it's the wood-wide network.
Yep, it is
Instead of the
worldwide
worldwide network.
It's literally every living organism on this planet is connected through the mycelium.
Mycelial network. It's kind of like our fascia. We are connected to everything in the cosmos through our fascia. So these mushrooms were the fruit of the tree. And because they were seedless, they were considered a sacred virgin plant of the divine. When they were finished harvesting their medicine, they would load their sack onto a sleigh pulled by reindeer and make their way back to their yurts. Amanita muscaria mushrooms are commonly referred to as agaric because they induce a sense of flying and a distortion of time and space.
So that's what we were doing.
Flying. The reindeer, guess what? They love these mushrooms as well. They would dig through the snow to eat them, and then they would drink the yellow-colored snow containing their urine afterward, sending them into an ecstatic trance of prancing and jumping around. This mushroom is quite toxic, so there were 2 ways the shamans could receive their entheogenic effects. Either by drinking the reindeer's pee through which their liver removes the toxins, or through a process of decarboxylation or drying. So once back in their yurt, they would hang these mushrooms from a tree to dry, hence ornaments on the tree. Or they would place them in a sock, hence stocking, hung over a fire to dry. In the winter, the yurt's main entrance was covered in snow, so shamans would enter through the smoke hole or the chimney at the top,
Climbing in and out of chimney,
and literally come down the chimney with their sack full of medicinal gifts that would bear even more gifts after ingesting them. December 21st was the day that marked this magical journey, led by none other than the spirits of the reindeer, the shamans' spirit guides. The reindeer guided the sleigh, or the vehicle for this journey, the vehicle being the light body, a Volvic chariot of light. They would eat the mushrooms and launch themselves on a spiritual flight through the underworld, which is the womb or the hara. It is our foundation of our body. Also, if we're stuck there, it's our lower state of consciousness.
which is most of us is stuck.
Through the middle world, which is our heart, and into the upper world, third eye, cosmic womb, the heavens. Making their way to the North Star, directly over the North Pole. These three worlds, the underworld, the middle world, and the upper world, which is mirrored in your body. Underworld is your womb or hara in your pelvis. Middle world is your heart in your rib cage. And your upper world is your third eye within your cranium. These three worlds were connected along an axis called the World Tree of Life, which united the entire cosmos. They believed that the North Star was located at the very top of the upper world, symbolized by placing a star on top of the Christmas tree. On December 25th, they'd return home with gifts of knowledge that they retrieved from the World Tree of Life, large pine tree. Hence, Santa Claus coming down the chimney with gifts. These wisdom-infused gifts help the village give birth to a new year. One thing that the patriarchy did really well is they stole and then they distorted and then they repackaged and distorted a lot of these ancient stories and rituals, repackaging them as mythical fables to entrap humanity in their false matrix, knowing fully well that people will fall for their trap and never question, is this true? Where did this come from?
How can you question today, even when you're sharing truth, people still don't want to hear it?
Absolutely. This trap disconnects you from the feminine realm of consciousness, including the feminine realm of your body, which is where the feminine realm of consciousness is located within you. So that you'll never be able to decode the messages that have been hidden in plain sight. Again, all sacred knowledge, wisdom, everything we're looking for, when we bring our awareness internal, it's been hidden in plain sight. We're literally sitting on a box of gold. Our body, we are sitting, meaning ego is in the head, doesn't want to drop below the neck into the body, which is where the gold is.
The body-mind synchronization.
Absolutely. So when we go back into ancient times, there was a reverence for the Great Mother. And the Great Mother is not just female or feminine. She represents divine union between the masculine and the feminine. So when we look at all man-made religions today, there is a deep rejection of the mother aspect of any female, because again, there's no female shamans, no female priests, no female pundits, no female in all of the other man-made religions. So there hasn't been that in how many thousands of years? So there has been a deep rejection of the external feminine, which when we mirror that, that mirrors our own rejection of our body. Hence, somatophobia, fear of the body. We reject our feeling presence, all of our feelings and emotions that occur in the body because of this collective rejection of the feminine. Simply because the feminine represents that which is dark, which we can see has been deemed as evil and scary and fearful and unknown. But we were born out of a dark womb. Our mother's womb was dark. Our higher self that was birthed from the cosmic womb, it was dark. When we look at the universe and the cosmos, it's dark.
Absolutely.
Yet we're so afraid of the dark. The Divine Mother was the very first embodiment of divinity. And women were the original shamans back in the day. They were called womb shamans. And that is because they were well versed in navigating this feminine realm. They were not shamans for others. They were their own shamans. While Shakti, or life force, being the feminine principle that exists in both women and men, women have always been revered as the guardians of Shakti due to their womb being an energetic, multidimensional portal between the physical world and the spirit world. Hence why the female body literally gives birth, bringing a soul from the spirit world into the physical world. Except what has not been shared is that portal is a two-dimensional portal. So just as you can bring a soul through that portal from the spirit world into the physical world, you can also journey through that portal from the physical world to the spirit world. After all, it is the female womb that gives birth, that births a spirit from the spirit world into the physical world. This portal into the feminine dimension naturally opens during menstruation, childbirth, and postmenopause in preparation for your soul to leave your body. So with that being said,
since we missed a lot of the conversations at the beginning, and thank you for all those brave hearts who decided to stick with us. I know we lost half the people. Again, attention span is short, so people are like, if it's not on, I'm out. We get it. We don't take it personally.
all good.
If you ever see me looking outside, and that's what I was saying, if you ever see me not looking at the camera, we live in absolute paradise.
Yes,
So
do.
we have two massive windows that all I see is beautiful trees and colors and toucans and parrots and hawks. And so there's a lot of distraction, but it's a good distraction.
But is it really a distraction, or are you actually feeling while you're,
So, and we know we've only got a little bit of minutes, 20 minutes. So we'll tell you, for us, what we wrote about, what Shelley put 3 years into, is not based on hairy-fairy. Everything that we wrote about in this book has been written about for thousands of years.
Well, and can we talk about the hairy fairy? Because it's like there's such a negative connotation around that because we've been disconnected from our divinity.
Again, well, look at what we see in this, like you and I spoke about this morning. Look at what we see in the spiritual world. Everybody is just trying to regurgitate something that they just experienced, heard about, just went and took a class. Look at yoga. Yoga is a good example of that. I'm a certified yoga teacher. I don't teach yoga. I got certified so that I can learn mind body, and the medicine and my practice is teaching me how to unravel my pain body.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, yoga has been passed down through the telephone line.
Well,
remember the game. You have knowledge, you have something to share with someone, you whisper it in their ear, they whispered in someone else's ear. 20 people later, that message is going to be distorted. And this is what has happened with all ancient knowledge and wisdom. Not only has it been distorted as it's been passed down through the lineages, it's been repackaged, it's been resold with new information, with new stuff added onto it.
Well, don't forget too, we also disregard the things that are uncomfortable.
Don't want to go there.
And I only want the nice grease stuff. Don't give me the uncomfortable stuff. I don't want to do that. So when you see it being passed on from one person saying it to the other, don't take our word for it, folks. Look around you. Turn on any YouTube channel. We have technology at our fingerprint. We can have any information we want in the world. But if you look at it, it's the same thing being repeated again and again and again. And words, like I tell my wife every time we do medicine and we go into our sacred secretion practice and we turn on the television because we've been 5 hours of being deep in medicine. And we come back out and we're like, okay, my mind needs to rest now. So can we just watch something on our YouTube because we don't have regular TV? It's just like anything that's wordy. Let me tell you, la 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 la. We're like, stop. There's no knowledge here. Move on.
Bunch of information, but no knowledge, because knowledge can only be found
in the body,
internal, in your body. I spent 15 years looking externally
for that book.
For this book, and it's as thick as it is because there was that much knowledge and wisdom waiting for me in my body. And no wonder I got so frustrated and angry and burnt out that I was not finding what I was looking for externally. It was right here. I was sitting on it all along.
So folks,
silly me.
And you'll hear us say this again tomorrow. When we say we don't care, we really don't care.
What do we not care about?
Not that we don't care about humanity. We don't care if you believe us or not.
It's not about believing us even.
We don't. What did you do before this? Can you say what you did before we showed up here to do our book reading?
Well, let's go back to the time we woke up. We immediately shared what we dreamt overnight. We gave our little guru here some love. Then we got up, took him for a walk, came into our ceremony room, 2.5 hour practice because it's my sacred secretion today. And then we made an absolutely delicious breakfast, enjoyed a cup of tea, and then went for a ride to go pick up packages an hour one way through mountainous valleys and jungles.
I laugh because even if we tell you guys what this looks like, you can't imagine it. When we take people on this ride, people like, you can see the look of awe. Like, holy shit, there are no words to describe this, is there? You're driving through the highest jungles in a cloud forest, looking like Jurassic Park. The weather is about 19 degrees Celsius.
Picture perfect.
And
year round.
It's literally, you're driving through clouds. It's mind-blowing. Like we're in the Caribbean, right? Uh-huh.
And it's this chilly.
And it's this chilly. Uh-huh. We drive by a castle, a real castle, built out of love. The developer of this area,
the wife wanted a castle.
She wanted a castle.
So she got a castle?
He built a castle at the tallest point on this mountain in this development that he built. That is 38,000 hectares. It literally almost goes from the Pacific coast to the Atlantic coast, and it's all forests. There's a scattering of houses that he's put a road through, but you can drive for hours in absolute forest. Waterfalls, rivers, like it is out of this world.
How did we actually end up in that community? Thanks to
medicine.
Mother psilocybin. We were in a beautiful ceremony and the spirits of the waterfalls here actually spoke to me. And I came out of my ceremony and I turned to my husband and I'm like, babe, this waterfall, we have to find this waterfall. This is where we need to be. And the moment I told you, what did you say?
We're going home.
We're going home. We're going home. And it was such a beautiful, just 2 weeks ago. What did we find on a rock in the waterfall here called La Tortuga?
A Om carved into the rocks.
A beautiful
sitting
symbol.
There, waiting for us. And
we both have a tattoo right here reminding us, welcome home. La Tortuga stands for, so this is how we translate our life. The turtle. So it's the turtle waterfall.
It's the 13th months of the year you've been deceived.
On the back of a turtle, guess what? There are 13 spots on its shell, each one representing the 13 months, not this Gregorian calendar, 12 months, completely disconnecting us from our natural alignment with Mother Earth, with the cosmos, the stars, disconnecting us from our innate biological clock.
So on our drive,
little tangent there.
my wife have to stop to take pictures. I have to share this with somebody because this is mind-boggling. And I'm like, what day is it again? Yeah, Thursday. So you can just decide to piss off and decide, I'm just going to go drive my 4x4 in the forest or across rivers and waterfalls. So go just pick up some packages. And oh, by the way, let's stop and pick a dozen datura flowers, which you left in the truck. Oh, sorry.
They're on the altar. They are on the altar.
A dozen datura flowers sitting on our altar.
13, actually. 13 for those
Perfect.
13 months. 13 divine feminine.
And then came back and sat in a hammock and made up time. She caught up on some emails. I had some lunch.
And voila.
There we are.
Yeah.
And when we're done with this, we can tell you we'll probably take our little monkey for a walk, go take some medicine, and because it's Shelley's sacred secretion, we will probably be in this room for about 4 or 5 hours this evening as I work on her body.
As I pop through pain portals into my light body. So as I shared, the reindeer pulling the sleigh represents the flying through the cosmos. We all have a light body. We all have an ascension vehicle. And our light body cannot activate. Why? Because we have a pain body weighing it down.
We're so traumatized.
Well, and our life force is not awake. Shakti, our feminine essence, our life force energy, being a chiropractor, the philosophy that spoke to me was the power that made the body heals the body. So I went on a journey of, okay, if the power that made the body heals the body, I'm not seeing the healing because the same traumas and triggers and wounds kept showing up. So my journey led me to remembering how to awaken the power that made the body so that that power can heal the body. But that power is also what fuels up our light body because we have 72,000 energetic channels flowing through our physical body. But with the pain body intact, with all of our unhealed traumas and wounds and fears and all the stuff that we've not healed that's stored in our body, those 72,000 channels are repressed. They're stuck. They can't breathe. Life force energy can't flow. We might as well feel as if we are suffocating because those 72,000 channels are blocked. So what we share, what we invite you to, we're not asking you to believe in anything. All we have remembered how to heal ourselves. And we are here to help you remember how to become your own shaman.
So when we say we don't care.
Remember how to heal yourself.
We are literally, like I told my wife today, I said, where are we again?
Paradise.
We're in paradise.
Living and loving
Folks,
life.
you gotta understand, we chose to heal in one, we still pinch ourselves and go, how the fuck, if we created this
from a trauma
from
cell.
our trauma selves,
what
the fuck are we going to create now? We are in one of two volcanoes in the world.
And we were literally dragged here.
Kicking and screaming.
We were really stubborn. We were not listening to the feminine messages of Mother Earth.
And
we put an offer, real quick, we put an offer on 7 homes. Each one denied, blocked. No, it just didn't work out for whatever reason. The development we were drawn to with the waterfalls. But we weren't listening. We were stubborn 7 times to get our attention.
So we ended up here. But beneath us, there's 80,000 meters below us.
Lava. Flowing.
We are literally sitting on 3 ley lines. And we are sitting and the continental divide. Now, how is that for energy?
So when these solar flares come in,
We feel it. Trust me.
we feel it big time. So coming back to how the patriarchy first has infiltrated the shamanic and plant medicine world. So when we look at our sole purpose here, we're not shamans, we're not healers.
Nobody's shamans.
All we offer is guidance, because when we met these plant medicines and we entered the plant medicine world, I had a lot of questions. I was looking for guidance. I wasn't necessarily looking for a shaman or plant medicine person to heal me, but I was looking for a little bit of guidance. Okay, Shelly, what you're experiencing is because of blah, blah, blah. Just, be aware or do this or that. But yeah, just give me a little guidance and set me free. And luckily we did manifest and create our brother Richie, who did set us free. Guys, listen to the medicine. The medicine will guide you.
He actually said that too.
I have nothing to teach you. I'm not here to certify you or blah, blah, blah.
It's like, go.
Remember.
But what he did tell us, he said, because when we were sharing with him, we were new to the medicine world. And this is a man who travels all over the world. As a matter of fact, as we speak, I'm sure he's somewhere in Europe or Turkey or somewhere serving medicine, because that's his job. He wants that. He's told us so many times, I'm a seed planter. That's what I do. I plant the seed of awareness into people. That's me.
Serving medicine.
So when we were talking to him about what the awareness is and where we're going and what we're seeing in the rituals, and he's like, stop. You have to understand something. The medicine doesn't speak to everybody. And he actually said the words to us. He says, when I serve medicine, it's because people are traumatized. They've been dealing with issues. They're looking for something
from the medicine.
He's like, you guys actually are trying to unravel the medicine.
Well, we're looking for our higher consciousness. And that is what we have given birth to, is how to meet these sacred medicines with reverence, with sacredness, not please heal me, heal my addiction, heal this, heal that. And I'm not saying with judgment. I'm not saying that is not good. But the medicines do not heal you.
Only we can heal us.
Only we can heal ourselves. They reveal you to you. And that is their true purpose. They literally unlock us and reveal us to us. And that's why they're scary, because we don't want to see us.
And like we said, there's a lot of information out there. And I know this sounds like information too. But this is where we take people with guidance into their body. Now, if some of you have been paying attention, you will probably go, and why does he have a piece of wood in his hand and he keeps going back and forth with this wood? I feel tension in my body because my right hip, I don't know if it's a childhood thing, but my wife always tells me it's a father wound that I'm healing, not for me and for my entire ancestors. So if I sit for long periods, although we are constantly working on our bodies, I can feel the tension building. So intuitively, I know that I have to open up the portals right here. That's connected to here. Now, did I read a book about that? It's the body's telling me, hey, put pressure right there. Can you feel the pain? Can you tie it to there? Okay, then just keep working it.
And breathe into it. And this is, so the word shaman, it means one who knows how to navigate the feminine dimensions of consciousness. Mind is masculine, body is feminine. So when we look at how the patriarchy and the fear and rejection of the feminine, of the mother, of the goddess has been infiltrating plant medicine in the shamanic world, all of the ceremonies that I attended were devoid of the feminine.
Now, we're not saying, trigger warning here.
Trigger warning.
When we speak, We are not judging anybody.
None whatsoever.
please
I'm
do not
sharing my
think
observation.
There's a difference, and I had this conversation with someone once before, a very close sister. What is the difference between judgment and observation? This is what we have observed. We are not saying it's right or wrong. We don't care. We're indifferent. It's what we have observed. So
for example, my very first Bufo experience, there was no real ceremony. It was on the beach. There was no preparation. There were no instructions before or after. There was no guidance. Okay, Shelley, if you experience this after, this is kind of what it means. Because I had a lot of crazy experiences and no guidance whatsoever.
Yeah.
There were no instructions. There were no, hey, do not eat this or drink this or do that before your ceremony or after your ceremony.
There wasn't even any questions about if you were taking any medications, if you're schizophrenic, if you have any mental disorders. All of those are things that has to be taken into consideration. When I serve Bufo, that's how it's done.
Absolutely.
And
these medicines can have interactions and contraindications.
You have to fast.
And we have observed, again, no judgment. We have observed medicine people who carry Bufo around and are willing to serve it to anyone, anywhere, anytime. No questioning, no intake, nada.
Even with psilocybin, think about it, folks. Psilocybin, this is the mother plant. She has been around the planet.
For how long?
Since it
Longer
started.
than us.
Carrying all this knowledge. And we take it to check out of life.
To party.
We take it to go to EDMs and raves and seeing that. Like, do you not understand the decimation that you're doing to what the knowledge that's being just flushed? Because you're partying, you're not taking it in reverence.
Well, why? Why is there all of this present with these medicines that were once so sacred? And if we go back, and again, this is something that I have remembered because there's some people talking about it, but back in ancient times, there were actual initiation rites of passages that you had to experience and go through with an experienced guide or shaman for you to remember how to navigate the feminine dimensions of consciousness.
Using psilocybin.
You were not just handed a cup of medicine. Here you go lay down, go do your own thing, because you're just naturally going to remember how to navigate the feminine dimension of consciousness. And when we entered the plant medicine world, I saw that. And then I started to see the pattern that I saw that led me to being burnt out in chiropractic and healing. People are reverting. People are coming back medicine ceremony after medicine ceremony after medicine ceremony, but they're not healing anything. They're still looking for the healing for their addiction or this trauma or that trauma.
Well, look at the guy from London Reels.
He did a documentary
on the fact after taking ayahuasca for 5 nights.
And he had all these beautiful revelations and insights, and I'm going to return home and I'm going to change and da 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 da. A week later, he missed his child's birthday party. The very thing that he said he was not going to do when he was still in the high of the medicine, of his ceremony. And this is something that we see a lot. So it's something that we observe, that if you are not being guided into your body with these sacred medicines, you are missing out on the next level that is possible with these sacred medicines. We're not saying this is the only way or the right way. However, we will bring you back to one truth. Everything you're looking for is in your body. Body Keeps the Score. That's a great book in addition to somatophobia to remember
several books written about
that everything you are looking for is in your body. So those fractals and beautiful visions that you're looking for with psychedelics, they're actually in the body because the fascia is what? Multiple fractals in multiple dimensions. It's a liquid crystalline matrix.
So think about it. When we do medicines to get experiences like DMT, a body. So Shelley and I will tell you, what people would experience for short periods of time, we experience that full time because guess what? We spend 3 to 5 hours in in our meditation, doing
in
our prayer,
body.
creating DMT naturally being produced by our body every single morning, every single night. So we are on DMT all day long, naturally
high
produced.
off our own supply, living from our higher self and higher consciousness. Well, except when the sacred secretion comes along, and then you're like, oh, you're hit with your trauma self. Oh yeah, that's a big one that needs to show up, so I can let that part of me die.
So we look forward to tomorrow.
Yes, we do look forward to tomorrow. We're going to be diving deep into the sacred secret. And when you ask us where we got this information of the sacred secretion, literally,
we can go a little bit longer today
because we started, absolutely.
Perfect, thank you.
So we unraveled this knowledge and wisdom, and this may sound absolutely crazy to you if you have not experienced it yet.
Or experienced us. Sorry to tell you.
We're a little crazy.
Some of Yolanda being one of them, some of them are used to us, so they know we're a little crazy. So if you're new to us,
we're a little crazy.
we just put out a different perspective on life. That's really what we're doing. We are sharing with you. We are not telling you this. It is not the truth.
It's not the only path.
This is our truth. This is what we have discovered. And like I shared with you guys what our day looked like so far before we showed up to this, again, how do we know what we are doing is right?
Actually, can I reframe that?
Sure.
How do
Right
we
or
know?
wrong,
Yeah, that whole duality,
That duality.
ego loop thing that we're clearing. How do we know what we're doing is working? Because after spending 15 years doing stuff that did not work, I can now, and thousands of dollars, I can now look at my life and you can say things to me to test me. Is that trigger there? Is that wound there? And when I'm like, no, it's not there, I can just laugh. I know that, okay, I healed that wound. Where did I heal it? Not just mentally, because the 15 years that I did all those modalities, where was I doing them from?
From the mind.
Well, actually more from my ego, because I was in my full-on trauma self, which would not let me drop into my body because ego was afraid of all those feelings. So doing modalities with my ego fully turned on, active, alive, ego is not going to let me drop into my body. And that's where the beauty of these sacred medicines quiet the ego, allowing you to either meet the medicine and journey with the medicine from the mind or the body. And this is what we saw in a lot of our early plant medicine ceremonies.
Everybody's journeying from the mind.
We journey from the mind because there's no guidance into the body. And when we are dependent on a shaman or a medicine person to guide us into our body, we first have to stop and ask, are they in their body, embodied? If they are not in their body, then how can they guide you into your body? Have they healed? What have they healed? Are they healing from their mind or from their body?
Well, even when we talked about our experience, and again, folks, we're not bashing anybody, our experience. When we did medicines, and we have done plenty, we did during COVID lockdown, while everybody was freaked out, we were in the medicine world. We did 100 ceremonies in 1 year, all different types of medicine. And when we would ask if we're going through a challenging period during the medicine journey, our brother would say, oh, just feel gratitude. What does that mean?
Well,
how do I feel gratitude? When's the last time I felt gratitude?
So if we look at the consciousness map of all of the different emotions and their frequency levels, gratitude is one of the highest ones, authenticity above it. But if we have fear and shame and guilt and all these lower frequency emotions stored in the body because we've suppressed them and our ancestors have suppressed them, how do we just magically make the leap from a frequency level of 200 to, let's say, 1,000 or 1,500? How do we make that leap if we haven't transmuted those suppressed emotions in the body? How do we go from feeling fear and shame to gratitude?
So, like I told my wife, And this, again, we're just sharing our truth, folks.
And these are the kinds of conversations we have in our daily practice.
Every day. If you're a fly on the wall, you'd probably think these people are crazier than most. I will tell you this.
Yolanda, yeah, she says, I mean, she's a little crazy too. Yes,
sister,
you are, sister.
Yes, you are. You hang out with us all the time, so you are. How do we feel gratitude? How do we know it's gratitude? If you really look at the human psyche, we barely can stay in a state of gratitude. We want a nice job, a great job. We get it. How long are we really in gratitude? Only for the first few days we come in and we're like, "Ooh, I got my job." A week later, we're like, "Hey." A month later, we're like, Check back with me in a year, and you're like, "I hate this fucking job. What am I doing here?" We have forgotten what we used to feel like when we didn't have a job. So when you want to create, when you want to manifest, the most powerful source of that manifestation that you want to do, gratitude. How do you have gratitude? Well,
you have to feel it.
Let me see now. Where am I living? Well, how am I doing? Well, this is one of the reasons, folks, that we become emotional when we talk about these things. The body gives us an opportunity to measure what it is that we're feeling. I can say, I'm gratitude. Oh, yes, I'm gratitude. But am I really feeling it? How do I know that I'm feeling gratitude? When there's tears in my eyes while I'm talking about something. When there's tears in my eyes as we're driving through the mountains and going,
wow,
fuck, this is our life. Like, oh my God, people are not going to believe this. Like,
we don't even believe
we don't believe. We don't know how we ended up here. We wake up every morning and we pinch ourselves and go, whose life is this and when does it end?
Well, the law of attraction and The Secret has told people you need a vision board and you need all these images and
this is not in our image board.
We couldn't have even put this in words.
Wow.
Even when we heard the message in our psilocybin ceremony, it wasn't like, oh my God, we have to put in words what we want to create. We just surrendered, and yeah, it was a little rocky to get here, but we got here. And we're like, how did we get here?
We literally gave away everything. This is because we trusted. We trusted. She gave away her business, $80,000 a year.
Cash practice.
There you go.
Low overhead.
A very young 25-year-old chiropractor who had just started working, interning with her.
I said Feliz Navidad and Julio too.
And there you go. But you know what? You have to give an exchange.
At least pay for the equipment.
So pay for half the price of the equipment. Yes. Give us something, because there has to be that exchange. Always remember that. There has to be an energy exchange.
Well, and he was not successful until he completed that sacred
exchange. That's right, because we had moved already and he was struggling. And I told Shelly, I says, because there hasn't been an exchange of something, whether it's time or gratitude or whatever. Once he made that shift, everything
he became
shifted.
Successful. Within a few years, he was able to buy his house. So we have to feel it to heal it. We also have to feel it to be in alignment with the words we speak. We can't just say, oh, I love you too. Are you feeling love? Do you unconditionally love you? And if you don't, do you really love whomever you're saying I love you to, be it your partner or your children?
We're like parrots, just repeating.
So that truly is what this journey, in particular, sacred secretion that we're going to share with you tomorrow, is how to literally rebirth yourself out of your lower state of consciousness, out of your trauma self, into your higher state of consciousness, your higher self, every single month. Because this is part of the rites of passages we didn't receive. We were supposed to receive a rite of passage that said, okay, now that you are 12, every single month you have an opportunity to rebirth yourself into your higher consciousness. Every single month you have an opportunity for a Kundalini awakening. Why would we not want that? Why would we not want to rebirth ourselves into our higher consciousness?
Well, again, it's a scary concept. And like this sacred secretion, we're dealing with rejection, because Shelley's
rejection really
reaching out to a lot of the people in her chiropractic world and saying, listen, come, listen what I've discovered that will help your clients. But first of all, you got to heal you. Heal you. The more you can raise your vibrational frequency, the more when you put your hands on your clients, trust me, it's magnified of what you can do to them. But you're not their healer. In order for them to take that adjustment, they have to come to the root cause of what's causing this pain. Like my pain in my right hip. It's a father wound. My father was an alcoholic. He was not present. He was there, but he was not present. So a lot of father wounds for myself, but I also realized for him to become an alcoholic, now let me put that in perspective. I come from a lineage of Brahmins. These are the people who carry the knowledge. And for him to become an alcoholic.
This is the telephone line.
So that's what I'm healing.
Absolutely.
So I'm healing for my entire masculine ancestors.
They fell from divinity. That knowledge that thousands of years ago got passed down from one generation to the next started getting lost until humanity has become so disembodied, disconnected.
So we can't help anybody else until we've helped ourselves. That's why if you ever rode an airplane, what do they tell you? In case of emergency, please put on your mask first before helping others.
Even if you're holding your baby in your arms,
put your mask on first.
And then your baby.
Help you first. And they've been half of them are not responding, half of them are just, yeah, good luck with your wishes. Good luck with your adventures. Good luck with whatever it is you're doing. And I remind my wife, I'm like, when we were driving through the mountains, this is Thursday at 11 o'clock. Look at where you are. Look at what you're driving. Look at where you left.
I have no stress.
How stressful do you
worry
feel?
In the world.
We are literally sitting on the edge of World War III. I'm like, how worried are you? I'm like,
not at all.
This is, once you do the healing, and this is what we're sharing with you guys. What we share, yes, is it challenging? Fuck yeah, it is.
Is truth triggering?
Yes, it is.
Is accountability feel like an attack on yourself because it's attack on your ego? Yes, it does. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, it's scary. But is it worth it?
You tell me. I triggered you this morning and put you back that way. Boom. I was so proud of myself this morning because I told her, I consciously set the trigger because I needed to show her how she reacts from her trauma self and how the excuses spin.
My trauma self is but in my mind.
Yeah.
I remember it a certain way.
And then I gently just pulled her back and showed her accountability.
Like, surprise.
And the look on her face and the tone on her voice.
Oh shit, yeah, gotta see that.
100%.
Thank you.
From the high pitch, let me defend. And what do we say when we are in trauma selves? What are the three things we're looking for?
To either fight, to either run, or to either freeze.
Fight, flight, freeze. So if you're speaking about emotional stuff to the people you care about, to your loved ones, check in with that tone, please. Is it coming from a place of defense? I need to prove a point. I need you to hear me, and that. Is it coming from a place of I need to run? So I'm going to I'm going to tell you whatever I need. I put a smile on my face because I need to get out of the situation as quickly as possible. Or am I just going to sit there locked up, frozen? Any one of those three things we do, we are in our trauma selves.
Clear indication. That means that there is a pain in our body, our pain body, that needs to be transmuted so we can access and activate our light body, our ascension vehicle, our reindeer pulling the sleigh.
So what we share with you folks in this book was supposed to be 1,000 pages. It was well over 1,100. I had to cut her back. I'm like, you are writing now this is an educator's book. You've gone past where the not normal person will be able to understand what you're writing about. So cut it back.
It's enough It's a self-healing manual. It's a sacred cannabis Bible. It's a map to everything you're looking for. Because again, it's a map to your body.
So we get it, folks, and I had to remind my wife this morning, we have been told this initially by our brother in Mexico. When we first did medicine, that brother said to us, you guys are way, way ahead of your time.
You incarnated way too early.
You woke up way too early, just so that you know. We're still at the trauma state. We're still at the denial state.
Cognitive dissonance.
In human consciousness. So you guys woke up way too early. My wife and I looked at each other and go, no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We're here.
We're here now, which means the planet needs us now. Humanity now. We are here to heal for not just ourselves individually, but we are here for our ancestors.
And that's what we're here to remind you all. If you're here listening to this message, you are the one. So the chosen one, you are the chosen one.
But
guess
you better put
what?
in some work.
You're the chosen one because you chose you. Your ancestors chose you, and you chose the lineage that you came here to heal. And now is the time to heal, and the sacred secretion is literally, for us having done it all, it's the fast track. It is a quantum leap into our higher self, the embodiment of our higher self. It's the fast track into our higher consciousness.
And like we say, folks, there's a lot of people that we work with. There are people who've come through our existence, who've run, I'm not ready. We get it. Why are we always pushing so much? Why do we put so many hours? Because we're remembering. We're remembering that during this is a 12,000 year cycle that we're in. Solar flares are the ionosphere is super thin. Solar flares is over exaggerated. Here's something that I saw the other day and I forgot to mention to you. So some of the worst solar flares that we've had has been 3 times what we're experiencing now. So this left the scientists scratching their heads as to why is it this solar flare, 1/3 the size of something that happened 375 years ago, why is it affecting the Earth so much?
The ionosphere,
ionosphere is
thin.
And literally, we're looking at a possible polar shift. So we're bouncing back and forth.
Well, and there's a polar shift occurring for Mother Earth as well as for the sun.
The sun having a polar shift right now. It just started its polar shift. So the magnetic north and the magnetic south of the sun is just reversed.
And this is why we see so much gender inversion, inequalities, and traumas just around these inner poles within us, our inner feminine and our inner masculine.
So that's why we're doing our healing at hyperspeed, because that's why
now's the time.
We chose where we chose
These
to do it.
solar flares are gifting us an opportunity to heal at hyperspeed. So why not take advantage of it? So with the sacred secretion, which tomorrow we're going to share with you the symbolism and the mirroring of the sacred secretion with the story of Jesus and Santa Claus, but also the mirroring of it to bring you back into your body where everything you're looking for can be found. And sacred secretion combined with solar flares, we are now literally having an opportunity that all of those who ascended before us, not just quote unquote Jesus or Yahshua, Buddha, Krishna,
and all the ascended
masters.
All the monks who ascended with their rainbow body. They didn't have this opportunity.
They didn't have this opportunity with the solar flares. We have an opportunity that they didn't have. And if they were able to achieve it without the solar flares, imagine what you can achieve with a little assistance from our Father Sun. So, with that being said,
thank you, folks. Thank you for sticking with us through all of this technical issues. I know some of what we say is going to be triggering for a lot of people.
Truth is triggering.
Triggers are ways to heal. Always remember that.
We have to feel it to heal it.
Can't run from them.
So thank you all. We look forward to having you join us in our ceremonial book reading tomorrow. be aware, if you haven't seen my video yet, if you say yes to joining us
You're gonna
tomorrow,
run into all kind of problems.
your ego is going to come up with all sorts of fears, reasons, justifications, and excuses as to why you shouldn't attend. Because your ego is afraid to feel, your ego is afraid it's going to lose power and control over you, because you just might reclaim a part of your higher self to replace that lower trauma self. So just be aware that that may show up. The link is underneath the live video here if you do choose to join us tomorrow from
8 p.m.
to 10 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
And we will see you then. Have a beautiful day. And as always, if you have any questions about this
Send
topic,
them our way.
send us a message. If you don't have somatophobia, you can grab your copy on Amazon.
We'll always answer you. We'll always try our best. And always remember, we are only sharing what we remember. We're not saying that we're experts in anything. We're just sharing what works for us.
Absolutely. And if it works for us, it just may happen to work for you
Just
too.
happen, maybe.
Have a beautiful
wonderful
day.
folks.
Night, 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 night.